series of cooking demonstrations for 2019. We normally hold about two and few things in between. So I'm happy that you took time off to come and see us tonight. Can I see the hands of those that are here for the first time? Oh, lovely, quite a few. Oh, that's nice. And it's good to see the old faces too. Look, you became part of our team just about, and it's lovely to have you back, so we are happy to have you. Well, just a couple of preliminaries before I invite our naturopath to come forward for the lecture. First-timers, this is a community service on behalf of Elim Health, which is a branch of our church. We do this as a free service. We'd like to be healthy, and we'd like you to be healthy. So if we can help in some way, well, this is what it's all about. So I hope that you will enjoy it, and if you do, come back next Monday. Every Monday is different, by the way, so it's not all the same. So 3 Mondays, 3 different topics, and yeah, please come if you can. We do give you samples, we give you recipes, so if you like it, make it at home and tell us about it next week or when you come. Now, normally we would have on that table books for sale, recipe books and health books. But in the meantime, since last time, those that were here before, we opened a shop downstairs. We have changed everything, and now we have the book shop and also the health food store together. So please, after the meeting, be free to go downstairs and have a look what we have. There's some good recipe books, vegetarian, vegan. There's a lot of things in a shop there that they're going to probably demonstrate here too. So, and we are open every day from 9 o'clock to 5:30. So whenever you're in the area, you need something, hop in and have a look. The tracts here on the table are free, so just help yourselves. Toilets around the corner. If you're thirsty, there's a bubble also in the little breezeway there. Extra toilets downstairs in case these are occupied. So be free to use them. Now, if, I guess the young lady there already took your names and ticked you off, and let them know if you're coming next week. It's important for us because we need to know how many samples to make, roughly. We normally have more than enough, but you never know. Some people can surprise us and turn up. Tonight we have Danica here with us. We are happy. She's our naturopath. Lots of practice with the family at home. She's got quite a few children, and that's the best practice you can have because you know you're very careful with your own family, so you can trust us. I'm not sure what the subject is. I think it's something about aging, is it? So it's for us young people, eh? Very good. Okay, take it on. Thank you, Danica.
Can you hear me? It's working? Good. I was thinking, what would be a fun topic that you'd all be interested in? I came up with all kinds of ideas and thought about the pros and cons of, you know, what would be the most interesting. And I thought, wow, it's Mother's Day, something for the ladies. What would I be interested in? What does every woman, what's something she's really interested in? I thought about not getting old, kind of looking young forever. So I got really excited as I went to prepare. I knew, you know, of course we all know some things, but as I researched, I was like, couldn't get enough time to research. It's like so exciting. Wow, I've got to do this now and that, and got to doing this thing right, but maybe I can do more of this. So I'm really excited to share tonight's topic with you, and hopefully you'll learn something. And the men, I reckon a lot of men don't want to age too, so it's not actually, it works for men as well as the ladies. It doesn't only work if you're a lady. These are general nutritional things. So let's get right into it. Tips to staying young and beautiful, or young and handsome for the men out in our audience. I found a really interesting study, and these are pictures of the mice they used in the study. Isn't this interesting? Look at that mice in the middle. Does that look young and beautiful, the mouse in the middle? So they started off with the mouse there on the left, as you're looking at it there, that's what they looked like when they started off with the experiment. And 4 weeks later, they had the mouse in the middle. And then they reversed what they did and got the mouse looking back to the one on the end. Isn't that amazing? So this was a groundbreaking study they did on aging. So what they did, they caused a mutation in the mouse by adding the antibiotic doxycycline to food or drinking water, and it caused a depletion of mitochondrial DNA, which is, we'll talk a little bit about what the mitochondria are, but in 4 weeks the mice showed grey hair, which I was fascinated with, grey hair. Reduced hair density, that's as we age, our hair tends to get less. Hair loss, slowed movement, less energy and lethargy. So it was like the whole aging process happening really, really quickly in these mice. Wrinkled skin was seen 4 to 8 weeks after the induction of this mutation, and females got it worse than the guys. That's not fair, is it? Hair loss and wrinkled skin could be reversed dramatically, and I thought this was really exciting, by turning off the mutation. Reversal of the mutation restored mitochondrial function as well as the skin and hair, proving to researchers for the first time that mitochondria are reversible regulators of skin aging and loss of hair. Isn't that fascinating stuff? This is just a recent study. They did this in Alabama, one of the universities there. So I looked, do any of you know what the mitochondria is? No? It's the powerhouse of the cell. This is what it looks like. So it's actually fascinating. It's a little bit like a digestive system in the cell. They're the little organelles, so the cell has all these tiny little organs inside the cell, like they're called little organelles, and they all do different things. So this is the little powerhouse, and it's like a digestive system which takes in nutrients, breaks them down, just much like our digestive system. Can't you see a bit similar? It's got those, you know how our digestive system's this big long tube, but it's all tightly bound, you know, in these interesting shapes down there, like that. I thought that was fascinating. It creates energy-rich molecules for the cell. The biomedical processes of the cell are known as cellular respiration, and what this energy, it's called ATP, if any of you have heard of that. Adenosine triphosphate is made by the mitochondria of the cell. And so this is what they messed with these mice. They slowed them down and it created this whole aging process, and then they restored the function and the mice went back to looking young as they did before. So what does that mean for us? What can we do to keep our mitochondria healthy? Some basic things that we all know. Minerals, it's good to be be on a good mineral. And I just went down around the health food stall downstairs and I'm like, what do we have? Well, we have some minerals down there, a good colloidal mineral. It's good to be on something. I personally really like spirulina. I know how many of you have tried that, different ways. It's a superfood that has lots of vitamins and minerals in it. It's got practically everything. You're going on an island somewhere, I think you'd be taking spirulina along and you'd have everything. A balanced diet with lots of good variety. Bee pollen. How many people have had bee pollen? Not everybody can handle this stuff, but if you can, it's fantastic. So try a little bit. I personally get a terrible stomach ache. I know it's so good for me, but I get cramps and so some people react like that. All my sisters are the same, where my children can have it by the tablespoon and they sprinkle it all over their breakfast and love it. It's a great source of your B vitamins, and I like it. I prefer things that come in nature, that God's made, rather than a supplement. Like supplements have their place, and I'm not against them. But if you can get something like bee pollen that's got all the things in it, in the right ratios that God knows the best, I would highly recommend it. So take a pinch first and see if you can handle it, but it is fantastic. Nutritional yeast, it's a good source of B vitamins too. It also makes your foods that are that you're not using, if you're not using dairy products and you're trying to use more plant-based foods, it gives the nice cheesy flavour, a savoury cheesy flavour and things. So that's another good thing. And we have spirulina here too. It is really good. Antioxidants. We all know what antioxidants are. They're the bright, colourful things, or the things like that are tart like lemons, because vitamin C is a very good antioxidant. It was interesting, superoxide dismutase is an antioxidant that it makes it so that the other antioxidants can actually be used by the mitochondria. And they found, I was looking at a study here, that people who are on a vegetarian diet have the highest levels of this antioxidant. Oh, here we are. I'm not at that slide yet, but do we all know what antioxidants do at a biochemical level? If we don't, here we have the slide here. So we have here a free radical. It doesn't have enough electrons and it's unbalanced. So it goes along very needy and it's taking from wherever it can. And this naturally happens in the body to a certain extent, but in this modern lifestyle we have a lot more of it happening. And so it causes oxidative stress, and that's part of the aging process. So we need antioxidants to come along, and they've got plenty of electrons and they give, and they're not damaged in the process. So that's why we want to include lots and lots of antioxidants in our diet. Sources of free radicals. So it happens in our own body, naturally, due to normal metabolism, but then there's external sources. Who doesn't have stress? Stress is a big one for free radical oxidative problems. Pollution, we have a lot of that, particularly in the city. Chemicals. So you could be using some beautiful cosmetics and putting them on your skin to look young and beautiful, but they might have some chemicals that your body can't handle, and you're actually causing oxidative stress, which is aging you. So what you're putting on your outside might actually be aging you. So when I look at something I want to put on my skin, I read through the ingredients, think, would I eat this? Is it actually edible? Or are there ingredients in here that I'm not sure that I would take internally? So you want really natural ingredients that you wouldn't mind maybe having as a salad dressing in small amounts, you know, maybe some olive oil and some herbs or some coconut oil. A lot of people use just coconut oil on their skin, and that has really good effects. So really simple cosmetics are actually what will keep you beautiful longer and not have those nasty effects on you. Also, could be things we're washing our dishes with. Look at your dishwashing liquids is actually causing you problems and aging you in that way. Our shampoos and conditioner. Look at more natural ingredients. Medications. So yes, they have their place, but don't overdo them because they all do have an effect on us. Oxidized foods, you know, some, I've got it later on, nuts and seeds, and when they go old, they get oxidized. That's a free radical damages our body in that way. And a lot of oils that can't handle a high heating level, and then we cook with them, then they become oxidized, and that's another burden on our body. So there's some things that we can cut back on, and there's some things we really can't do much about. So we need to see what we can cut back on with free radicals and make sure we have plenty of good antioxidants to help deal with the rest so that we don't have oxidative stress going on and causing us to age faster than our time. Okay, I've just covered a lot of that. But diet is, I might get to show it, but there's a really interesting video on plant versus animal. And animal foods do have a small amount of antioxidants, but it's interesting to notice that plant-based foods have way more. So if we have a chance at the end, we can get that to work. But that was really fascinating. They have very, very little. And meat, if you think about it, just think about this one thing. When an animal is alive, it's alive, but when we eat it, it's dead, right? So it's breaking down. It's in that process of breaking down. And when you consume it, you're taking something that's breaking down into you, and it has an aging effect on you, where plants don't have that effect on us. So we want to have living plants where a dead animal does age you. And it's really interesting. That has a definite effect on the aging process. Okay, here. Ooh, my battery's running low. Aren't I connected? No.
Is your cord?
Call my husband. Yes, this is serious. This is interesting. The master antioxidant I was talking about earlier, as we age, goes down in the young, so you can see it's a little higher, but in a vegetarian it is that much higher. And this is very important in the aging process. So being a vegetarian has its many, many benefits. It seems like everything I study, being on plant-based foods does make a huge difference in every single aspect of our health. So we have some different beauty foods there. I love spirulina, as I mentioned. Berries. They're something amazing to use. Good fats. You know, we get lots of good fats in the nuts and seeds. And when we have them in a natural process as possible, our body can use it. But when we have processed oils, a lot of times our body can't, when they're oxidized, our body can't use them. And it's like the oxidized oil comes up to your cell, and there's a receptor point in your cell, and it comes like a key into a lock, but it can't go inside. Your body can't utilize that. So you could be having a diet with lots of oils, and your brain needs oil. It's very important for your brain. But if you're having a lot of oxidized oils in your diet, it's actually you're filling in that receptor in the cell, but no good oil can get in. So you want to cut back and have ideally no oxidized oils and have only good fats and oils that can get in, because your cell needs those fats and your brain needs it. So give it the best stuff, and that's in the nuts and seeds. So there's a list of some good foods for our beauty. A beauty enemy. You can see what that is. Sugar. This was an interesting one. I was like amazed at this. I knew sugar wasn't that great for you, but like, wow, the research here. So there was in this one study, they measured the blood sugar levels of 600 men. Let's just wait a minute while we get this plugged in. Okay, thank you so much. Save the day. So they measured the blood sugar level of 600 men and women aged between 50 and 70. And then they showed pictures of these people to a board of 60 independent assessors, and found that those with higher blood sugar looked older than those with lower blood sugar. So, and it depends how much blood sugar, how high it was. The perceived age of that person rose by 5 months. That was really interesting. So that was one interesting study. And then I found this article. It's describing what happens when sugar enters your bloodstream. It binds to protein. This was a local Sydney Morning Herald article. Elastin and collagen are both proteins and building blocks of the skin. During glycation, toxic compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, are produced. These can cause wrinkles, sagging, dark circles under the eyes, and a multitude of other health problems. So I was like, wow, every time we have sugar, it's sweet here. You think about that. It's sweet in the mouth for, a short time, but the effects later on. And that's one. You could have a whole talk just on sugar. That's just one aspect of what sugar does to us. Is it only table sugar? So some other interesting things I found. It's not just the table sugar, but it's those refined carbohydrates. I don't know how many of you here last year I did a talk all about how important fibre is. It's a very important longevity secret, is to have more fibre in your diet. But refined carbohydrates, those carbohydrates where they've taken the fibre out, that also has, it's a similar effect as to having sugar. So it's something to replace it with the brown. Instead of the white, have the brown, the whole grain product. So the refined carbohydrates, they're a bit like those free radicals. They're missing parts, so they take off the fibre, and they're missing a lot of the vitamins and minerals, so they actually take from the body instead of giving. So a good source of sugar is using fresh fruit. Often in a cake, why not use bananas instead of sugar? Or dates, something like that. Use those options first, and then if you want to use something else, you've got honey. I like to keep it raw personally and use fruit in my cooking, but raw honey is really good for you. And there's maple syrup, there's coconut sugar, which is brown, and it has more nutrients in it. So kind of use, think about, okay, I want sugar, what's the healthier option? Let's not go white, let's go for the one with some more minerals in it. And think about cutting back and having smaller amounts. An interesting experience I had a few years ago, I don't know how many of you heard of Candida diet, where you cut out all sugar. So I did that for a short time. We actually did it as a family, did it with all the children, we did it. And you cut out all fruit even. The only thing you can have is Granny Smith apples because they're not that sweet. And after coming off that, you have a piece of fruit and it tastes like eating cake. It's like your taste buds reset. So that's a really good experience to go through. You reset your taste buds and you find actually you don't want things quite so sweet. And you get to a point where it's not that appealing to have that super sweet cake. You want a cake with half the amount of sweetness. So different things you can do to reset your taste buds. Oh dear, I was going to talk about water and I missed. This is supposed to be, can you tell me from the picture, what have I got here? Aloe vera. You all know what that is, obviously. It's amazing, inside and out. It's interesting. How many of you have rubbed it on your skin and felt you can feel it tightening? I know it feels kind of weird, but it's good. Like, it has good effects. I like to. I'll tell you about this as soon as we've looked at this study. So in a study published in 2009, researchers found that just a quarter of a teaspoon of pure aloe vera gel can significantly reverse signs of skin aging in 90 days. Isn't that amazing? Just taking it inside, so you don't have to rub it on the outside. Just taking it inside, it's having an amazing effect. In just 90 days, facial wrinkles improved significantly in both groups, and facial elasticity improved. So I like to make a green smoothie. I don't know how many of you have tried doing a green smoothie. Is that something you're familiar with? Put your hands up. Few people have tried green smoothies. It took me a while, actually. I thought they were really weird at first. I was like, who would do that? But when I tried it, I quite liked it. So I'll often do a green smoothie with fresh greens from the garden and get some aloe vera and scrape out the gel and put that in the green smoothie, and then just get the outer leaf and just rub it around. But that's something really good to do. So you can add some berries in there and some activated nuts. I like to soak nuts or seeds overnight to get the nutritional levels right up. And they blend up a lot easier. Yes? Activated nuts is when you soak them overnight in some water and it starts the sprouting process. If you've looked at when you sprout anything, the nutritional levels are like hundreds of times better than the unsprouted. So that's what I like to do with seeds, linseed, chia seeds. I like to soak them. Where's Daddy? And then put them in the smoothie in the morning. Hey, no. Kezia. I think he better. Sleep. I think that's probably the thing we all struggle with. Go to Daddy. But it's an important beauty tip. Very important. When we sleep, melatonin is happening in our body, which is very important for keeping us looking good. The growth hormone is active when we sleep. Our brain detoxes. You know, we don't have a lymphatic system. The lymphatic system takes the junk out of our body, moves it away, but there's no such thing in our brain. It's when we sleep, the brain changes modes and the toxins drain out. If we're not getting an adequate sleep, you're getting this toxic build-up and it's going to affect your mental health and age you, things like dementia, memory problems, all kinds of things related to not enough sleep. So there's some factors. Well, we know hours before midnight, we all know that, right? Is the best sleep. It's easy in the evening to do stuff, but those hours before midnight are really important. I know a lot of people struggle with sleep. It seems to be a common problem. Well, is that a common problem here? Different ones struggle with sleep, yeah? I personally really like magnesium. I haven't tried this particular one, but magnesium is really good. You can take it during the day and also at night. That helps you have a much deeper sleep. Another thing is Epsom salts. How many of you have tried using Epsom salts in your bath? What I like to do, because you go through a fair bit, I like to put in a jar, half fill the jar with Epsom salts, and then fill it up with hot water the rest, put a lid on, shake it up, and then at the end of your shower or your bath, so you don't have to have a bath, pour it over yourself. It's quite strong. It's way stronger than putting it in the bath, and you don't go through so much. And you can do this on a regular basis. So after about 3 nights of consistent Epsom salt use, you'll find your sleep is so much better. And little children who have a hard time falling asleep or are a little too hyperactive, this stuff works really wonders. I like to get it in a big bag, and that's one of those things we have, Epsom salts. Every home should have Epsom salts. It's really good. Also exercise. I think if we were to put exercise in a pill, it'd be the most important pill we could take. It's just one of those things, no matter how old or how young you are, exercise is key for absolutely every aspect of health. It's just, I think it rates up there, very close to being as important as what you eat, is exercise. So it's probably eating's 55 and exercise is 50, something right close, really close. It's so important. Eating light is it's a simple thing that really helps at night. If you eat a big heavy meal just before bed, your stomach's working all night. So I think if you cut back, eat a simpler meal or fresh juices, or just think about, I like to have something raw, or a fresh juice is really good. Something that's light and you digest before you lay down, because otherwise you're dreaming and your stomach's just working all night. It never gets a break. And you wake up in the morning, you struggle to get out of bed and you feel exhausted and you don't feel like you're eating breakfast because your stomach's been working so hard all night. So it's good to kind of cut back and reverse your meal order. Have the bigger meal in the morning, a good lunch and a lighter dinner, and that will actually have a huge effect on how well you sleep and also be part of the anti-aging process. Oh yes, this is something I personally like to do to cut back on sweetener. You give this a try sometime, see what you think. But instead of using honey in my herbal tea, which I give my children herbal tea first thing in the morning, a pinch of sea salt. So not regular salt. This regular salt is, the refined salt, that's also unbalanced, but a pinch of sea salt with the minerals in there, just a little bit, it gives it a lovely flavour and a squeeze of lemon or lime, and you have a refreshing drink that you have that, and then 20 minutes, half an hour later, you're good for a hearty breakfast. Keeping the room dark. I've always taken this for granted that everyone knows this. You sleep better with the room dark, but some people don't. So in case you're one of those people, keeping your room dark at night helps you sleep a lot better. And an open window, that's another thing I think most people know, but if you didn't, even in winter, open it just a crack so you get fresh air. So while you're sleeping, you're getting good fresh air. Okay, I'm going to briefly talk about some of the things on our menu tonight, which I'm excited. I think we have a great menu. But watercress, it's packed with chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is one of those things that helps your body deal with cancer, protect your body from those cells going carcinogenic. And it's like exercise, it helps in every realm of your health. It's really amazing. Antioxidants, A and C. Vitamin C is amazing for beauty in that it stimulates collagen growth. Collagen, as we get older, it slows right down, and that's what keeps our skin looking firm and elastic. It's that collagen. And vitamin C, which I think in older, 100 years ago, where people were having fresh from the garden, people were getting a lot more vitamin C. But we need to consciously think about, am I getting something fresh? Am I getting that vitamin C? So watercress is a fantastic way. Calcium. They always say to you, where do you get calcium from if you don't drink milk? Well, now you know, watercress is one of those things. Magnesium helps with your sleep. So it's another beauty thing. Pomegranate. is something we're going to have in our watercress salad. It is another good source of vitamin C and has some unique compounds which may help to preserve collagen in the skin, slowing down the signs of aging. And notice this second compound, urolithin, is produced when pomegranates interact with gut bacteria and may rejuvenate the mitochondria, which we spoke about earlier. So that's very interesting. Sweet potato. I think sweet potato is amazing. When I write my shopping list, I put sweet potatoes and avocados. It is so versatile and it's so good for you. So last year I talked about the Okinawan diet and their longevity, and I thought it was fascinating that Okinawans, they eat, you would think rice number one, right? They're Japanese people. They must eat rice number one. No, they eat sweet potatoes. It's the number one thing in their diet. And these are the people who live to be over 100 years of age and look amazing. They have, like, you see these old grandmas that just look gorgeous. So sweet potato, it is amazing. And we're going to do something really fun with it tonight, which I'm excited about. So it's really good for your digestive system. Like, it's full of fibre. It's the orange colours with the beta carotene, which converts to vitamin A. It's very key for skin elasticity, promoting skin cell turnover, and ultimately contributing to soft and youthful looking skin. And so it's also a source of vitamin C and E. And our next one is my other favourite, avocado. It is so yummy. Who likes avocado here? Most people? Yes, you're all my friends. Avocado is, who needs butter or margarine when you've got avocado? Seriously. It is so good for you. And I was thinking about avocado. I had a memory. I grew up in Queensland, and we got, like, one time, I think, like, half a trailer load of boxes of avocado. And you know what we did with it? We made avocado ice cream. And it was 3 ingredients: avocados, honey, and carob. Blend it up and put that in the freezer, and you've got a good, healthy ice cream. So you can have it sweet, and you don't even know avocado's in there. It's the fat in there. It's hidden in there. The other flavours take over. But it's so good for you. I think if I was to go somewhere on an island, avocado, it's like you can just have it every way. When I was in Papua New Guinea years ago, I was like, they call it butter and they call it grease over there. And I found these trees loaded with these avocados. I'm like, please, I want them. It was like the delicacy. They had so many good avocados up there. But it is, I think you could have a half-hour talk just on avocado. It is so good for you. But it's high in anti-inflammatory fighting acids. It promotes smooth and supple skin. And it has nutrients that prevent the negative effects of aging. And it has a high antioxidant content. Also, I think it's interesting, which I don't think I've got here, but it's a good source of fibre. Who would have imagined? Avocado is a great source of fibre. So it feeds the good bacteria in your gut that helps with beauty too. Also, the B vitamins keep you happy. Eat some more avocado. Broccoli. It is amazing. It's been coming up a lot in studies lately how good it is. It's not my all-time favourite food, but there's ways to sneak it in. I personally like it with corn, mix broccoli and corn together, and the flavours go really well. But it's interesting because it's one of those things that really stimulates superoxide dismutase, which is that antioxidant that gets all the other antioxidants working and hitting your mitochondria. So it is really an amazing superfood. I have a child with special health problems, a broccoli sprouts in a capsule. So if you're not in love with it, take the broccoli sprout capsule, and it's really, really good for you. Berries, we all know berries are amazing for us. They're very rich in they're like up the high. You know, a lot of the other foods will be this much antioxidant. The berries always come out way higher, and they help prevent collagen loss and protect the skin from sun damage. They're just an amazing all-around superfood that we can get more of. And I'll just end with this thought. We can be beautiful, But let's not be stressed about it. Let's have that inner beauty. The stress ages us, and you can see those, those worry lines. I think, as we age, let's have smile lines. Let's have that inner peace of trust, of relaxation. Think positive thoughts, think the best of people. Read positive things so our brain is growing in the right way. As we're exercising, that's a great time to think lots of positivity. And last of all, I love this Bible verse. In 1 Peter 5:7, it says, casting all your care on him, for he careth for you. So when the stresses of life are taking us, give your problems to God. And I hope you'll enjoy tonight's cooking demo and think about all the good things and how you'll be more beautiful when you eat them. Thank you.
Thank you, Danica. See, you would never tell that Danica is 58, would you? Well, that's because she's not. But yeah, she doesn't look her age though. She must be practicing what she's preaching, as we say. Thank you for that, Danica. Appreciate it very much. If you don't mind passing the microphone over to one of the girls, you can switch it off and I can put it back on. Now, I'm sure Danica will be here after the meetings. If you have any questions, just please come and talk to her and approach her, and she will be happy to talk to you. So I don't know what's going on here, but it sounds very interesting, doesn't it? So who is first? Sorry? Denise. Okay. Well, you have your recipes with you, so make sure that you follow it and make sure that you do it at home. See what you think about it. While we are waiting, I mentioned before that we don't charge, it's all free, but we have a little blue box around the corner, and we do appreciate your donation because it does help us to keep going. So be free to donate. Denise, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let's switch this over towards you a little bit.
Thank you. We were having some difficulties with
And
that.
this is Denise, everyone.
Hello,
She's got a bit of an
everyone.
accent, but
Good
don't hold it
evening.
against her.
Well, you want to introduce the salad and then...
Good evening, everybody. Denise is my pomegranate professional here, so she's just going to show us how to, I'm going to say de-arrel a pomegranate. I don't know if that's the correct term, but anyway, she's going to show us how to do that, and then I'll jump in and show you how to do the actual salad.
Just a demonstration on the least messy way to actually go through and separate all your pomegranate kernels. So you want to take a bit off the top, just like so. I don't know, can everyone see? Yep, okay. So we want to cut it just deep enough to where you're getting the top, but you're not really cutting through the fruit too much. You may have to keep going a bit, but you're just, what you want to do is you want to be able to see the pomegranate actually has sections inside of it. And when you take this top part off, you start to see from the top those actual little lines that you want to follow. Once you find those, you're going to slice where those lines are. And of course, the one pomegranate that we left for demonstrating is the one that is the most concealed. Okay, so it's going to be hard for you to see clearly from there, but we can see we have a line there, so we'll cut just gently enough to cut through the skin. We'll find another one. There's another one right here. And another one right there. I have a feeling there's another one right here. So it's a bit like how a lot of us cut through an orange before we start peeling it off. So now you're just going to put your fingers here in the middle, and you're just going to gently peel it open. And then, yep. So then you've got one section here, and you can see how you've got the skin from the section. That's what you want to look for at the top. You want to find that little white line so you can find your section there, and then it just comes apart really easy. And then from there, you go through the process of slowly popping all of your kernels out from the fruit, which takes a bit of time, but is worth it in the end. And that's how you do it. If anyone wants to actually come up to take a look, you are welcome to. Otherwise, yeah, ta-da. Do you want me to take these back and bring you back the bowl? Yep.
Thank you. Okay, we all here? How easy was that? I mean, kind of easy. Or you can just go to Coles and buy them already done like that. They come in little punnets. I think they're just called pomegranate arrows. I don't know if they're in the freezer section or not, but I know you can get them already done, so it saves you that hassle. Or you can just buy a nice pomegranate because they look pretty. Thank you so much. Okay, so salad as a salad is, it's just mixing all the ingredients together and tossing it up. So we'll start with our greens. So we've got one bunch of watercress and baby spinach leaves. So roughly 50-50, or more one, more the other, totally up to you. You could put rocket in this salad as well if you wanted to. So we've got that, and then we'll chuck in our pomegranate arrows. And our lovely demo version here. Then we will chuck in our pears. Make sure we toss this lightly. Okay, then we have to do the salad dressing. Am I doing the dressing in the Vitamix? Okay, perfect. Again, super easy dressing. Something a little different, maybe a bit fancy, but it's actually got raspberries in it. So we've got the raspberries that go in, some olive oil, a little bit of honey, just to sweeten the deal a bit. That would be lovely. Thanks so much. Salt to taste, and some lemon juice. And we just whiz that all up. It smells really good. All right, so you just drizzle that over the top of your salad. Look at that color though, seriously. It's so pretty. Probably won't put it all in, that might be a little bit too juicy for what we've got here. Thank you. Then, oh actually, sorry, I will toss it through first. We'll do it gently, just to keep those pears as whole as possible. Those pomegranate arrows look like jewels in here. It's so pretty. Beautiful. And then we'll just sprinkle these walnuts over the top. I'd probably do that just before you serve it though. So you could plate it up and then just sprinkle the walnuts over the top. But that's it. And trust me, it tastes really good. So yeah, thank you very much and enjoy. You next. All right, I'll pass you over to my mum.
Hi everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you all got spoilt yesterday, all the mothers, yes? Very good. Okay, before we start, I'll hand these out. you can take one and pass them on. It was left off your recipe sheets, okay? So this is for the next recipe, so take one and pass it along. Now what we're going to do is something a little bit different, hopefully. We're going to need a toaster for this one. And I'm going to need these two plugged in. Yeah. Excellent, thank you. Okay, what we're going to do with this one, we're making a hummus and a sweet potato toast. Now this is something really good, especially if you're gluten-free or if you can't eat bread, classic bread. This is a really good alternative. And what we're doing, we are actually getting sweet potato rings and we're toasting them, putting them literally in the toaster. And so I'll try that, but you have to actually put it through twice on the highest setting. So I'll just put these in and let that toast. You can do it lengthways as well and toast it as well, just the same way, just in the toaster. And then what we're going to do is make a hummus, which you've got on top, which is another really, really easy recipe to do, something you can whiz up in a few minutes. A tin of chickpeas, just plain chickpeas. I've actually taken the water out of it, and you can actually keep the water aside. Keep it. Later on, Lydia will be talking and she will tell you what you can do with the water from the chickpeas, okay? It's really good for you. It's a replacement to egg white, and we're actually using it in one of our other recipes tonight. So we've drained all the tins that we've used, and we're using it in another recipe tonight, so you'll see that. So just a tin of chickpeas. A tablespoon of tahini. If you do it in a blender, a high-speed blender, you actually don't have to put tahini in. You can actually put just sesame seeds and it will blend it to this consistency together with everything else. But because we're using a food processor, it doesn't blend up to this consistency when you put sesame seeds in, okay? So if sometimes you're stuck, you don't have tahini, you can actually just use sesame seeds, blend them up, and you get tahini. So we just use a spoon of tahini into this as well. Lemon juice is a really, just gives it that lovely tang. A little bit of oil. That just adds to the creaminess of it. Garlic. Can't go without garlic, especially in winter time. Perfect. And a little bit of salt. Now you can go easy on the salt if you don't want it to be so salty. It's up to you how much salt you want to add. Then it's just a matter of blending it all up. We're going to make a bit of noise now. Just stop once through and pat it down so that everything gets done around the sides. And let it go again. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Our toast is still going because we've got it on the highest setting, so it's just a matter of waiting till it pops up and then you pop it down again and let it go through once more. You can actually do it after the first pop, depending on how crunchy you want your sweet potato. It's up to you, because you can eat sweet potato raw actually. So when it's nice and pliable like that, it's probably a good consistency so that you can actually chew it. It's yum. Oh, there we go. It's popped once. Put it down again. And get this off. And then we'll just have a piece of sweet potato. Smear this on top. And you've got a lovely morning tea, snack, lunch, whatever you want to do with it. You can actually roll it up and have it like a roll, especially if you do it long ways. You can roll it up and have it like a roll. And you can take that, pop that in your lunch or whatever, and it's really yum. You put a bit of paprika on top for a bit of garnish, and that was it. So simple and easy and yum. You can use your hummus obviously for other things as well, for dips and whatever. Very easy to make. That's it. You're up, Lydia.
Do you want to put that on in there or no?
Yeah. You want it? No, that's going to be finished. Yeah.
Oh, did you enjoy that? Sure. Sweet potato as a toast. Wow. What else will they come up with? Lydia is next.
Yep.
Just a reminder, don't be shy afterwards. Please go downstairs and have a look what's in the shop. Now, you can't see what's going on in the back, but I can tell you that there's a beehive in the back of activity. So it takes them all day to prepare for something like this. We are very appreciative of what they're doing.
We're going to take
It's
that
still
away.
inside, it's still working.
There's still something going on.
Actually, we can put it on the other table here.
It's still going.
See,
Careful.
Joe's worried about his camera. By the way, let me tell you that this is live streamed, by the way. And if you ever want to go back and have a look at it, all you have to do is go to YouTube, put Schofield's Church, and we will come up. And you can see all the past episodes in there, and yeah, you can watch it again. So, Lydia, you ready?
What if they don't want us to come up?
Well, maybe they do want to. You never know. Thank you, Lydia. That knife looks
Hi
dangerous.
everybody, how are you all? Good to see you. Lots of familiar faces back again. Welcome back, and the new faces. It's lovely to have you with us. We're going to do something very quick and easy, and it's very filling, and it's one of these amazing tasting cheeses that you can get. Before I start on making the pie, you'll know how easy it is once I start it, but I'm using some coconut oil, and that's solid, okay? So we want to melt that down, and instead of putting it on the stove, I'm just going to pour some boiling water in here and let it sit there. I've boiled the kettle outside, please, Rosetta, if you don't mind. And that will sit there and it'll be ready for us to use as we go along. Now, broccoli pie sounds to many people yuck, but to others it sounds lovely. But this afternoon, while we were baking it, cooking it, my little grandson was there, and I said, "Do you want some pie?" And he says, yeah. I said, "It's a cheesy pie." Yes, so he had some, and he loved it, absolutely loved it. So it's something that's very loved by many people. Now, on the recipe, it says to use 1/4 cup of cashews soaked. If you don't have time to soak it, and if you've got a Vitamix, you don't need to soak it. If you do have a Vitamix, you don't need to soak it. If you don't have a Vitamix, so that it can be whizzed up very quickly, you can boil it for about 10 minutes and then take it out of the water, and that just softens it up. But try it first. If your blender's strong enough to make it go creamy, then you probably won't need to cook it. Or because sometimes you don't think, what am I going to cook tomorrow? And you don't soak the cashews. So don't let that stop you. Just try it. It might work, and see how you go. So what I'm going to use, a head of cauliflower, broccoli like this will give you 8 pies. 8 pies. But they're little ones. They're this size, okay, the little from the pie maker. If you want to do the bigger ones, that would probably give you about 6, okay? So it's quite economical and it's quite nice, and you can actually freeze the pies once you make it. You don't have to use it all up. So what I'm going to do while the coconut oil melts down, I'm just going to cut up. You can keep these and put it in soups or stews or something if you like, but I'm not going to use that today. I'm just going to use the flowerets. So just quickly cut it. It's oops, I'm making a mess over here, but the more mess, the more fun. So just cut up your broccoli in nice chunks so that it can be put into the pie. You don't have to get it too small. Depends on how you like it. Some people like it a little bit harder. The bigger pieces there are, the crispier it is when it's cooked. If you want it really, really fine, then if you want it really mushy, it'll be, do a little bit, cut it in smaller bits. Now I've got to use a mixing bowl. Thank you. And I'll put my broccoli into the bowl. So that's the only filling ingredient with the cheese. So you don't put anything else, just the broccoli, okay? So we've got that. And, thank you. Oh, good. Okay, now in the cheese, earlier on, Rosetta spoke about aquafaba. Okay, that's the bean water. And we took the water from the chickpeas and we've kept it. And we're using that in our pie, in our cheesy filling. So I'm using 1 cup of aquafaba with 1/4 cup of the cashews. I just soaked them in there today. I thought I might as well throw them in there, but they don't have to be soaked if you've got a Vitamix. So I've just put the aquafaba and the cashews, and then add all the ingredients together. Next one, tapioca flour. 4 tablespoons of tapioca flour. You can buy tapioca flour in an Indian shop. You can also get it in Coles. So it's very easy to obtain tapioca flour. So that's 4 tablespoons in there. The next ingredient we've got is lemon juice. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Then we've got savoury yeast. Now we've got savoury yeast downstairs in the Elim store if you would like to purchase some. So just 1 tablespoon. That gives it a real cheesy taste. If you're making a non-dairy cheese, it helps to give that cheesy taste. And then a little teaspoon of salt or more, depending how you like it. You can taste it. And also, Rosetta's got the lovely slices of...
Make sure you turn your toaster off when you put
the fork in it. Otherwise you might go zzz. Your hair will stand up. Okay, now this is an optional thing. You can either put veggie salt, or you can put stock powder, or you can put whatever, whatever you want for flavouring. You can just leave it out and just have plain salt. It's up to you. I'm putting a teaspoon of the stock powder in there. And that's the Marcel, 100% vegetarian Marcel stock powder. It's the chicken style that I'm using. It's absolutely no dairy, no meat, no animal product in that. And that's all it is. Now I'm going to whiz that up and it's going to make a little bit of noise. I'm sorry about that, but it will. I whiz it up until it gets a bit warm, okay? Because that starts to cook the tapioca. So I'm going to make a noise for about a minute. So just bear with me. Sorry about that. Just while that's processing there, I'm going to cut these. Now, has anyone got a pie maker at home? No? You don't have to have a pie maker to do this. You can just make it in a pie dish and in the oven. But we're going to be spoiled today, and I'm going to do it in the pie maker. So I'm going to cut... Is that being plugged in? No. Okay, it's Pie Magic, but apparently you can pick a pie maker in Kmart for quite reasonable price. I'm not too sure what brand it is, but anyway, this is really lovely. But what I'm going to do is I'll switch it on to warm up, and I'm going to cut the shapes. Now with this pie maker, you've got the bottom of the pie and you've got the top of the pie. So I'm going to do that while that's making a noise, okay? Oh, I forgot my coconut. See, I've got to put 6 tablespoons of my coconut. It's melting, the coconut oil. Okay. It is 6, isn't it? Yes. I'll put that in. If you happen to forget it, doesn't matter, you can actually mix it in with this, if you see it like I just did. This is not ready yet, so I'll just put a few and then I'll put some more later. That's 1. Is that water warm enough? Isn't it? Okay, that's 2, so I'll just, I'll try and see if we can get some more hot water in here. Maybe fill it up nearly to the top. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. All right, so we'll return. I've got to put 4 more. Can you remind me? Okay. All right, so while all that noise is going on, I'm going to cut the shapes out. Okay, that's just about ready to go. So if you notice, I've got 4 bottoms out of 1 sheet, 4 bases of my pie. With this one, I used to normally get 5 because I can get one from the middle, but I should have put these right up against the edges, so then I could get 5, and you just keep 1 for the next time, or if you're doing it. And what I'm doing here is, because it's got little cuts, you just put them on like onto each other, like so, and then you're going to get, it's so much easier to place a little cup into your pie maker. Okay, yep. So we're just going to do this it doesn't take long. Once you've got the hang of it, you just go for it and just have it ready for your pie maker. Well, that's better. That's much better. Okay, how many do I have to put in there? 4 more. Thank you. Okay, so it's 6 tablespoons altogether. One, 2, well, 3,
Perfect.
4. Okay, I'm just going to whiz it up once through, just very quickly to blend that up, but doesn't matter. There was one batch that I made this afternoon and I forgot to put it in, and I'll just mix it up in the bowl. But while I got it here, I might as well. Okay, so what we do is pour that into the broccoli. Yeah, thank you. It's very liquidy. And the tapioca has already started to, like thicken up a little bit because of the heat. But look, if you don't have a Vitamix, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't heat up. It's okay. And don't worry if it's all runny like this. That's fine. That's the cheese mixture. That'll harden up when you put it in your pie. So we're going to do our pies. Now, if you don't want to use puff pastry, I'm using the Pampers puff pastry. That's perfectly okay for vegans because there is no animal fat in them. If you don't want to use them, you can actually do your own very quickly. You know how some of you have seen me do the quick pastry, where you just put 4 cups. If you want to write down, it's 4 cups of flour, and we'll do another 4 out the back. Put our lids on. And then cook it for about 8 minutes. 8-9 minutes, depending on how you like it. Okay, you like it, eh? Okay, now I was telling you the recipe for a quick pastry. It's 4 cups of flour altogether. Now, how you use it, it's up to you. You can have gluten-free flour, you can have whole grain flour, you can have half and half. But altogether, 4 cups of flour, 1 cup of oil. I like to use olive oil, the light olive oil, and that won't go bitter. And 1 cup of water and a teaspoon of salt. So what I do is I put the water and the oil in the blender. I mix the salt with the flour. Switch the blender on, it goes creamy. Then slowly with your fingers, you pour that cream and mix it with the flour very gently, and you've got a lovely flaky pastry. And that's what this one is, okay? So it's quite nice. So if you don't want to buy pastry, that's what you do. But if you want to have it really quick, some of your children come home from school, or you've got some grandkids or something and they want to, oh, quick, what am I going to give them to eat? You can very quickly make up a pie, and it's healthy. And they don't even think about the broccoli that's in it. And for us young ones, as you heard Danica talk about anti-aging, eat the broccoli. Okay. Now, while you're enjoying that, we're going to go on and do our avocado frozen cake. But I have to wait till I get my blender here. And I also I will need the food processor as well. So what do you reckon? You like it? And would you think it's cheese? Yes. How would you make it? Do you have a little cupcakes or do you have pastry like a quiche, pie, yeah, anything like that you can use, yeah. And in the oven. Put your oven to 230. Once you put your pie in, then turn it back down to 200. Yeah, you can, because what you do is if you've got I've got little individual pie makers that they've got the middle that lifts up, so it's really handy. But I roll out the bottom, put it in, and then put my filling in, and then I roll out the top, and then put it over the top, and then I press the edges. Okay, now if you want a tiny one and you've got a cupcake, what you can do is you make your individual circles, just cut them bigger than, so that they go up the sides. Measure the height of the edge of the cupcake and the bottom, and then make sure that you've got enough pastry to cover that and a little bit over. And what I do is fill up all your cupcake, like your tin, and then just roll a big sheet of pastry. Once you've got your filling in it, just put the whole lid on top, and then you roll the rolling pin over the top. And you can just, you can just cut them out then. You can freeze it, definitely, yep. Freeze it and then just take it out and just reheat it. But don't reheat it on very high oven because it'll burn quickly, so reheat it slowly, yeah. So it gives it time to defrost. Or if you take it out of the freezer in the morning and then heat it up in the afternoon. Put it in the fridge during the day and just, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 When you make this pie for dessert, the frozen cake, because we did it here this morning, it didn't quite have enough time to set, to freeze properly, okay? So you really need to leave it overnight to be able to. I was going to do it last night, but I couldn't find ripe avocados, so I had to wait till this morning, and then I went to go shopping, and by the time I got here, it's just not quite, it's a little bit too soft. You'll taste it, but it's a little bit too soft. But if you leave it overnight, it'll be nice and firm for you to slice it, okay? So it'll make a cake about that size, all right? So that's an 18 centimetre tin, and it's a springform pan, so you can actually open it, run your spatula or knife along the edges, and then you open it up, and I think that's really handy. And I also have a piece of baking paper that I've cut to put inside, and that just helps. It's easy to lift it out. Okay, so let's start this. I do need to have the processor so I can do the base. So in the base, it's very simple. It's only 4 ingredients. We've got almonds, dates, salt, and a little bit of coconut, desiccated coconut. So if you don't have coconut at home, don't worry. Just put your dates and your almonds. A little pinch of salt, because it's always nice to just offset that little bit of salt. It just helps change the flavour. Now, with the actual avocado, we need 4 medium avocados, okay? So we've got 4 avocados for this recipe. It's something that's good to eat now in winter coming on, because the avocado season will start up. So you can get quite good prices, but if you're having that in summer, it's a different story because it's harder and dearer to get it. So at the moment, they're still a little bit expensive, but they are going to come down. So I'm going to prepare the base first. And all we do for the base is we're going to just whiz up the dates, the almonds, the coconut and the salt. That's all. We don't do anything else. And then press it down. I'll just get the container for this. I'll just move this back a bit. Okay, Rosetta's just getting me the base. Any questions so far? Yes? Medul? Yeah. No, these are not, but the medul dates definitely makes it easier to press down. Yeah, you can do that. They're nice and soft. But these are just ordinary. These are just ordinary dates. No, because these are fresh. But sometimes you get them very dry and then just soak them in a little bit of boiling water to just soften it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to create some noise again. Oh, it's good to see the boys helping. Oh, is it that way? Oh, it is that way. Okay. Has that got a lid? Okay, let's go. All right, I'm going to start the blade going before I pour this into it because it'll throw the thing around. If I just put it all there, it's going to be harder to start. So start the blade going. You can stop and have a look. There's still quite a bit of bigger lumps, so we'll just keep going. Okay, there's still some quite big chunks in there. Every food process is different, so you know how well yours works. Mine's different to this one, so I'm going to keep on going for a bit longer until you get smaller bits. That looks really good now. The pie's done. Can you see it? I'll move that out of the way so you can see it. Okay, so just straight into your spring form. And it'll look like, oops. I don't know if you can see it. Little crumbs. Level it out and then press it down. Once I press it down, I can lift it up and show you. And it's nice if it's a little bit chunky. It's nice to have the little nuts and it's got a nice texture. You chew the little nuts. I'm not using any oil or margarine or butter or anything like that in this. It's just dates, nuts, salt, and a little bit of coconut. Very, very healthy for you. And that's your base, okay? That's ready. So there's no big fuss. Now we're going to do our mixture in the blender. We're going to blend our avocados and the rest of the ingredients all together. Doesn't matter which order you put them in. Doesn't matter, you just put it in your blender and that's it. So we'll start off, I'll put the banana in, a nice ripe banana. Okay, I usually do my zest, lime zest in here and then cut it and then juice it, but we've already had that done for us tonight, so that'll be a lot easier to use. A juice of 1 lemon. If you like it a little bit more sour, you can add more lemon or lime. And then we just do our avocados. These are lovely. So they're really worth the money. Just to peel them and just cut it into bigger chunks. Yeah, you can scoop it out with the spoon, or you can just cut it with the cut chunks out. Yeah. Okay. Why I like to do it, you can scoop little bits so that it's not so hard for your blender, it won't work it so hard. Okay. These avocados, unfortunately, are not really ripe. They're ripe, but they're not really as what I would like them to be. When you're looking for something like this, see if you can find them almost mushy, you know, really nice ripe avocados. And it's easier to, and they have more flavour too. The same with the banana. It's nice to have a ripe banana. As long as it's not off, the skin, if you've got little speckly skin, that's really lovely. You can, this one is a little bit, still a little bit green, but the more speckles it has, the better it is. So, did you enjoy the talk tonight? It's great, eh? See, you'd never know I was 85, would you? Joe knows. No, I'm nowhere near it, but it's really good tips for me to stay like I am rather than look like 100. So it should be a little bit more set. It's not too bad, but 1 lime juice and rind and 1 lemon. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of maple syrup for sweetening. If you're a sweet tooth, you can put more, or if you don't like it so sweet, you can put less. The one that you're eating is a 1/2 cup. Okay, and 1 teaspoon of the vanilla. I don't have essence, I have vanilla extract. I like that better. The essence is too much alcohol-y, sort of, I don't like it. But I haven't got my little teaspoon here, but just a teaspoon, okay, of the vanilla. And that's it. And you just whiz that up and pour it into your on top of your base. And it's really lovely. I'll just start off. I'm sorry, I'm going to create some noise. I also, with the Vitamix, there is a tamper that you can help when it's being processed. If you don't have a Vitamix, it's okay. Just switch it off, give it a stir, put it back on, okay? Ivan, Johnny, can I have the temper for this, please? Yes. Amy, thank you. I'll put that back here so you can have a look. Just waiting for my temper to come. But if you don't, this is what you do. You stop it, give it a stir, and then start it up again. Oh, thank you. Very good. Okay. I also need the coconut oil in this, and I need, where have I got? A 1/4 cup of coconut oil. Okay, it's gone out the back, so I'll have to just wait for it. And that helps it to set a little bit too, okay? So that's coming. I'll just put that in, and that's just ready to pour on top of that. And in the freezer. Did you like it? Yeah? Like it? Okay. Not everyone likes avocado, so I'm thinking, should we, shouldn't we? I thought, no, we're going to introduce you to it. If you don't know about it or if you don't like it, you might change your mind. I come from Brazil, and in Brazil, they whiz up avocado with sugar and lemon juice as a drink. And I grew up with that sort of thing. And when I stopped using the sugar in it, I'd put honey and water and lemon juice. And it's just so nice as a thick shake. So I just don't know why my coconut oil is. If you just don't mind me, I'll just go out and get it. Coconut oil.
Talking about Brazil, when we went to Brazil for the first time, that's the first time that I saw avocado being eaten like that.
Wow.
Can you just put Lydia down? They cut it in half and just put a tablespoon of honey in it, a teaspoon of honey. And you eat it like that from the shell, actually. You mix it a little bit, and it's really yummy. I love it. No, not sugar, just honey.
The coconut oil that we had here that was warm, it's already solidified. So she's just melting it down a little bit because it's a bit cool. So, yeah. So we'll just put that in there and then we pour it out. So any questions on this one while we're waiting? I'm sure we can organise something. Did you miss out? Oh no, there is plenty. No, we'll get you some. Someone missed out. Someone missed out on the dessert.
Okay, who ate his? On up.
Thank you.
Did anybody miss out anymore?
Anyone else?
Look at all the hands going up.
Okay, 1/4 cup of the coconut oil. You just whiz this up and then it's done. I'm sorry about that. Like to see these cooking shows using a lot of the plant-based plants and vegetables and fruits, and it's really nice to see that people are making use of these things. I remember when I first came to Australia back in it was 69 actually, we couldn't find a lot of these vegetables that we find today. But yes, it's just so nice today because there's such a variety. So if you want to eat this, you have to come back tomorrow. Now, if you want to have something fancy and you want to have a different colour, you can actually add spirulina to this and it'll go like a jadey bluey green. And I only put about a half a teaspoon of spirulina powder and it changes the colour completely. And it's, you know, depending if you're having a certain, whatever it is that you're having a party and you've got a colour scheme or something and you want to do that, it's quite nice actually. So, yeah, so this is ready now for the freezer for overnight, and tomorrow it'll be ready to be cut and served. So I hope that next week if you come back you're going to tell me, oh, I made that dessert. I had guests and I've made that dessert. So, yeah. Thank you so much for coming and for your patience.
Well, guess what? You look younger already. Look at that.
Can't recognise
Bit of wishful thinking on my behalf. Well, thank you all very much for coming. It was lovely having you. And don't forget, next Monday we are going to continue. Before you leave, though, look, everything that you had tonight is really vegan. Even though we say it's a vegetarian demonstration, it's all vegan. Just in case some of you are vegan, this way you can taste everything. So if you want to replace it with dairy cream or whatever, you can do that. But keep that in mind. Look, I also want to mention lightly, I'm sure that you have seen vegans making headlines. Okay, now we have nothing to do with them. Okay, I just want to make sure that you understand that. Okay, we are simply here to teach you the most helpful way of living, what's best for you, and this is what it's all about. Now, before you go,
Take it to Mama because it's hot. Where's Mama? There.
Before you go, let's have a word of prayer because we are a church, as you realize. So I don't want to let you go without asking the Lord to keep you safe. Okay? Loving Heavenly Father, we are thankful for this time that we had together here this evening. We know that you want us to be healthy, so teach us that we may live a life that will be a blessing to all those around us. Keep us safe as we travel to our homes. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, thank you very much. Ask the questions. Come and have a look. Danica is there. If you want to ask her any question, you're welcome. Shop's downstairs. You're welcome to go down too. Thank you all for coming.